I was just saying we should overdub over top because wrestling songs are so easy. We'll just go, whoa, whoa, and then people will sing along with it worldwide. Hello.
I just got back from some indie wrestling at the Cloverdale Rodeo.
I like wrestling when it's indie. Did anybody lose an eye?
No, but some chunky dude did a backflip off the top rope and then had all the kids yelling like doing the chant that you just kind of did, like
effed up.
You know, just whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh,
whoa.
Oh, okay.
Like they had him doing.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's the thing. Get the kids
I
chant.
thought maybe they were doing you effed up.
No. Then some guy cut a promo on the town, which was kind of fun. But anyways, what's going on, man? Back from Mexico.
Yeah, I know. And we were wondering on the last podcast, us and the viewers were wondering if you still cannot drink the water in Mexico. Is that still a thing?
You can't.
Because you always say, don't drink the water.
A couple things. You can't kinda, but it's really getting better.
Good.
Like the ice is all brought in or filtered, stuff like that. That was you'd get a drink and you'd have ice in it. You'd be like, shit, and then you're screwed.
Did you drink the water?
No, I just drank bottled water.
Okay.
But I did have some ice. But yeah.
I picked up. I don't know if you saw these. I sent for $1.
Yes, very.
Look
cool.
at that.
I saw that. Yeah.
Oh,
look at that.
That's the original movie from 1978. It's a puzzle on the back, right? $1 all day long, my friends. Okay, now check this out. These ones. Now, this got me onto watching something really, really cool. Now, these are the set from Space 1999. Not the Kubrick movie, but the TV show that came out. Here's the funny... Yeah, these are great. So here's the funny thing about this TV show. It took them a decade for them to catch up to do the graphics even close to what Kubrick did back in like the late 60s, which is wild. So these cards... But so on YouTube, you can dial in the whole Space 99 TV show series, and it's in great quality. You can watch the whole thing. I watched that one right there. It was great. Like, it's a really good show. Really good show. So I got these cards again for $1, which I'm okay with. I've been buying lots of cool stuff. And the other thing we have going out, I have this right here, so I thought I'd show it, is my latest commission. The turtles are hot right now, huh?
Oh, are they ever? Yeah.
So there's Leo, right? No, sorry, Michelangelo. I had a request for Michelangelo. Whew, I have to start over again. I did the wrong turtle. No, Michelangelo. You know who you are, who if you're watching, hopefully. And yeah, look at that. It's all ready to go. Neat, huh?
You know who loves the turtles? That nerd dad Joe.
Oh, cool.
That
right
nerd
on.
Dad Joe. Yeah, he loves some turtles, man.
Well, this is like $75, and it's perfect for. Oh, I should have brought the little ones in. Excuse me. They fit in these little $1.50 Walmart frames that are really nice. So you buy this for $75. You get a frame for $2.50 at dollar store Walmart, and man, these look cool. These look really cool. That includes shipping too. $75.
Very cool.
And that's hand. This is all, you're not getting this anywhere else. That's right on the money there. Now, the other cool thing, now that I've gone through all this stuff, is that it's been, since I had an organized, any kind of band, music school thing going on, it's been 6 years, Lonnie? Since we moved here, basically. Since I left Port Perry, really, I haven't had an official school. But...
event as well, or school.
Well, check this out. Right when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, it's the return of Chris Machete's super fun band program. Now, here's the big deal. I have a city behind me this time.
Slick. I love that. City money's the best.
I have way more information coming next week, but just let it be known that rock and roll is about to get a whole lot dangerous again. I'm being backed on this project by people who really care and really get it. I tried to do so many things in Port Perry. I was shut down, probably because I'm not from there. I understand that. Whatever way, I have the whole city of Kingston behind me now. Do you know how big this could possibly be, my friend? Big time.
I mean, Kingston loves the arts. They love, what a supportive town that is. It has been ever since you got there. So
it's back. It's starting in July. Much more info to come next week.
Wow,
but
summer project.
It's back.
Look at you with a summer project.
This isn't a summer project, though. This is my point. This is a great big thing that's coming to the city of Kingston. This is big. This is something that I see. How well did I keep this under my hat? You didn't even know about this, did you?
Didn't know.
This is the city of Kingston. Chris Machete. Kingston City presents Chris Machete's super fun band program. It's back from the dead. It's been like 6 years, man. 6 years. Yeah. Woo!
It was a lot. It was a
Hello,
lot of fun,
Kingston. Who knows where this can go with the backing that I have behind? We can have gigs downtown. We have, like, there's so many celebrities that we can involve in this that are already just in the city. All the kids I've met are like so stoked. I know some people are going to want to drive from the old area there.
Sure.
Woo, buddy. Woo, buddy. Wait till the promo comes out. It's back. It's dangerous. Rock and roll. Look out, music news, world.
Man. I love the. I love that. Well, that town's super supportive, and I think it's great. You've had nothing but ups since you moved there. So
thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. So I'll have more info on that next week. As you're watching. This is pre-taped. We should mention if we're not in there talking to you, because I don't know if I'm going to be around. And I don't know if you are, Brent. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. Mucho appreciate it. I'm selling coasters. So we have the coasters up there as well, and we've actually sold a few of them and getting very good replies on them. I've seen a few friends online posting them. Cool. I don't have any. We got to get some ourselves for around the house here. The Joker one, See, I don't get them for free. I have to pay for them too, my friend. So, you know what I mean? But that's just from the store. But this is so cool. So those are becoming a big hit. I had no idea. We're going to make some new ones of those. Maybe we'll make some Ninja Turtle ones, huh? Excuse me. Sorry. Allergies. Not this one, though. There's only one place you're going to see this, and that's at my client's place, and I'm not giving the address away on that. You're on your own for that. That's right. So Machete School. Wow, this is going to be, who knows how big. Hopefully I'm going to have a scheme of how big this is going to be next week when I'm on the air again. And I'll have some cool promo for everybody, because sign up will be in June. We will start in July, and we'll go through to August. And then we're going to see what we're going to do with the schools. Yeah, because maybe the school system needs a little machete in them, huh? Maybe Kingston needs a little machete in the blood, I think, right? And they're cool with it. They're so cool with it. So this might be a big thing. We'll see what happens. We'll see how far we all take this. Got a great big meeting on Friday, and I'm stoked because I just word the people here, and hopefully I'll be able to drop some more names next week, man. Just sensational people, again, that care about the kids, care about the music, care about keeping live music alive, and are supporting me in what I want to do, which is great. As again, I did it before,
and there's nothing like, dude.
And it was a fight.
Like getting up on stage too for the first time, or if you see any of these kids doing. You see like Rock School or something in Vegas or LA.
Well, they're the future, right?
And it's just fun to watch them get up on deck and do some things.
They're the
old
future.
Shows with like Fitz and who else do you have? You had a couple.
Jeremy Taggart out there.
Taggart out there.
We had Taggart out there. Yeah, we had awesome. Russ Dorff was out there.
Yeah.
Who else do we have out there? One guy we shouldn't. Anyway.
Griffin.
No, we didn't have him. We didn't have him. But there was lots of cool guys out there that came in and saw us and helped us out. Yeah. It was a really good time. So the school's coming back. More information next week. I had to throw that nugget out there. And also look on your, to my comic book collectors and card collectors, those online auctions, man. Those online auctions. I just drive up the street to a couple blocks away, but it's just a couple people that have these sort of things, and I'll throw $1 on them, as I mentioned last week, and if nobody bids, then I get them. Okay, cool. So let's move on to Marvel.
Easy.
It's great. Let's move on to Marvel, my friend. Boom, Marvel. I actually watched Ant-Man. Have you seen Ant-Man yet? Quantumania.
So the new one I did not see. I was planning on going to see until I saw how terrible the reviews were.
It's free on Disney right now, right?
Yeah, so I might watch it. And I don't get too caught up in reviews, but when the comic community was ripping it to shreds, I was like, okay, maybe there's a problem here.
Okay, well, I saw it. I thought I was watching a Star Wars movie. I had to keep reminding myself. And the Star Wars Easter eggs in there, like, I'll just give you one. So MODOK has got beat up quite a bit, right? You know, the guy with the big head?
Yeah.
And he says to Ant-Man's daughter, "You were right. You were right. There's still good inside me."
Oh,
Vader! Like there was a lot more than that. I just don't want to ruin them. You look for them. The game is, if you're watching the new Ant-Man movie, look for the Star Wars Easter eggs. All right. My allergies. 1 sec.
Did you enjoy
Holy cow.
the movie though? Like,
I'm getting there. So here's the thing. It didn't feel like I was watching a Marvel movie. It didn't really feel like I was watching a movie either. It felt like I was watching maybe one of their TV shows. The villain was really cool. That's the other thing we got to talk about here, right, is the villain. But here's the thing that saves a movie like this is every actor and actress in there was like top shelf. They were great, dude. You got Michelle Pfeiffer in there that's playing amazing, right? You've got Paul Rudd in there who's just...
He's great.
When is he bad? He's just not bad. He's really, really good. And then was it the Wasp's
Angelina
name?
Lilly.
There you go.
Angelina
Canadian
Lilly,
actress. She's in there. And then there's the new young girl. I can't remember her name, but she was okay, you know. Sure. Because his daughter's character is pretty rad. So she's in there. So if you get all these actors and actresses in there that are really good anyway. Michael Douglas is in there as well. Yeah. And he's Hank Pym, the original, which is great. So, and a lot of us old school guys are seeing the throwback to things, especially when you put the original Hank Pym in there. You get MODOK in there with the huge face, who is an old villain. I won't tell you who he is, but he's an old villain that's in there. So that's what saved it for me. If it didn't have those actors and actresses, man, I'd probably be giving it a far less rating. I would give it like a 2.5 out of 5 kind of thing. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. Because
you're entertained.
I loved the way the special effects work in a movie like this, right? Because they're in a shrunken down world. I would have liked to seen some other things like the Micronauts in there and other stuff like that. Now your villain you're dealing with, Kang, is sensational, right? He's a time traveler, and he loads up on futuristic weapons and then goes back in time and takes over timelines and universes. This guy's great. You know, he clones himself. It's crazy. But the actor just got fired, right? He like physically abused his girlfriend really badly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So he is, and what was his name again? We just got Jonathan Majors. John Majors. So, and here's the thing. At the end of the movie, there's like 1 million Kangs. There's 1 million Jonathan Majors. And in the bonus scenes, also, you get like a great Loki scene with Loki and his buddy there, right? From the TV show. Remember the Loki TV show?
Yeah.
Luke Wilson.
Yeah, with Luke Wilson. So there's this after credit scene, Owen Wilson, yes. So there's this after credit scene with Loki and Owen Wilson, and Jonathan Majors is there again, Loki. So they've already had to change the filming and scripting of the Loki TV show because his name, Jonathan Majors, has been dropped from everything related to Marvel. It's gone.
I just brought it up to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I see
the charges are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit last week. Just to say and wondering what would happen and how could they go on with this. And then I found out this week that he has been released. And not only released, but his name's been wiped out from everything that's upcoming.
Domestic dispute, yeah.
So as I mentioned, the movie ends, dude, with like 1 million of these John Major guys. So now, mind you, some of them were like alien looking and some of them looked like, different kind of species. It's just interesting to see what way they're going to go, or if they're going to just, because they can't just drop the whole Kang thing. Now, this is, again, Marvel's already sputtering here, right? To have this happen when they launch their major villain is really tough. That's another, because we were talking about what is Marvel going to do here? Well, they've just took another step back. And again, we have no X-Men coming out because the problem is, and I talked about this just briefly, is we're having such a long wait on the X-Men. It's because they can't decide whether they should call them the X-Men or X-People or New Mutants or the Mutants. Like, let's not offend anyone. Oh my God. And see now, as I touched on, now these folks around the world are starting to offend me. I'm not offended when you want to use certain bathrooms and you want to be a certain gender. Okay, you do you as long as you don't hurt me. If you take the name X-Men from me, from my childhood, I'm upset. You're offending me. Okay, that's just my rant. That's my rant. You do you, that's fine. X-Men has been mine since I was like 6, 7 years old, man. Don't take that from me. That's not cool.
Do you think they're just going to call it X?
Well, this is the thing. I don't know. They're all... I think they're just waiting for everybody to calm down. And then they'll come out with it, maybe Deadpool and Wolverine will just set the bar again.
You know what, dude? Like, it's like you can't call it Super Person. It's Superman and Supergirl.
I know.
And Batman and Batgirl.
But it's not a group. It's like X-Men, so it's like a group of them. So the girls are being called men. So people are getting very upset. You can't blah, 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 blah. And so, that, again, don't get me going, because that's personal for me, right? Like, that's like, and as stupid as it sounds to some folks out there, this is my bathroom that you're fighting for. X-Men is my bathroom, if that makes any sense. Okay?
It's a little over the top.
So that's why we're waiting for X-Men.
Everything. Yeah.
But here again, so my point here is here's another potholder stepping in for Marvel to keep going. It's like their biggest commodity that they're sitting on right now, the X-Men. They can't go anywhere because everybody's too scared about what the name should be.
It's crazy.
Dude, that's redonkulous. Redonkulous, right? So that's why they're waiting on that. But the Ant-Man movie was pretty cool. It made me go back and watch Doctor Strange, the last one, with all the timelines in there, right? Wow, and that I really like that movie because I feel that Scarlet Witch is one of the best fleshed out characters in the Marvel universe at this point. They've gone with her. Why she's angry. Why she was a hero. Yeah. Why she turned to being a villain. And now, on top of being just super powered, she's a mutant. They said that she's a mutant. She's one of the first recognizable mutants. So she's not only superhuman with something put in her that like Captain America and all of them had put in them, or close to the gem there, one of the stones, but she's a mutant. She's so friggin' powerful. It's redonkulous. So if you rewatch that, you just get to see how powerful she is. And again, when we're going to talk about our sci-fi girls, man, she's in there for me in the modern day because she's beautiful. She owns the role. And you forget that you're watching an actress. You think you're watching, from my point of view, you feel like you're watching the Scarlet Witch. You're feeling it. So I think that's just another example of how Marvel is kind of like they can't get back to their very first start of the Scarlet Witch and top that. She's the best character that's come out.
But are they gonna continue on with Ant-Man? I mean, you know more about where they're going.
Well, yeah. So, you got to watch the end. If I tell you my answer to that, it's going to be a major spoiler for the movie. So I can't tell you that. Sorry. Sure. So it is a leaping point though for some really cool stuff you can see coming. Really cool stuff you can see coming.
Cool.
And again, when I was watching the Doctor Strange movie, the sci-fi effects they work with that so well because this is like a sci-fi movie. It's like sorcery and crap, right? And so that's another one that I like because I find that the over-the-top graphics really work for that kind of movie. You know what I mean? And I would say for the Guardians of the Galaxy, which you saw, what's your rating on that out of 5?
I gotta tell you, I think it rolls in at a 4 for me. I thought they did a great job. The funny thing is, I never saw the second one, but I watched the recap of the second one, and just that recap is what happened. Yeah. But this one, I feel like you didn't necessarily need to watch that second one. It's all about the whole thing's an origin story on the raccoon.
Rocket, man.
On Rocket. So it's really about his origin story, which is awesome. It looked great. It flowed pretty good.
James Gunn.
So for me, I was totally entertained. I thought it was.
And did the kids like it?
Oh yeah, kids loved it.
Yeah, well, that's important too, right?
I do have like when they gave it, when Samantha was like, "What did you rate it out of a 10?" I said, "Well, I think it was a 6.5 or a 7, but it might lean in at like a 4 out of 5. Like it's on a 3.5, 4 out of 5. I've got two things that likely I can't say because it'll ruin it for you as well.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
So you're gonna have to watch it, and then maybe we can revisit it. I will say this: the drama meter was very high.
Yeah,
which I thought was great. But I thought it could have been higher.
Cool.
So I'll just go with that as I'll lay that out there. But I thought it was a nice wrap to the whole thing, and I'm actually if they end up with that, then that's great.
I am a big Guardians fan. Enjoyed it. It was a surprise. Surprise movies, right? They're good.
It was I went into it just kind of like okay, but it just flowed fast enough and good enough for me that I was like, I love a good 3-hour movie but also like. It's got to flow. That 3 hours.
The Ant-Man movie wasn't that long, so that was one thing about it. As we went through a bunch of stuff, and I had to pause it as my wife left the room for a minute, and it was like, oh, geez, okay, well, half hour left, right? Wow, okay, cool. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I'd recommend it if you get a chance to see Guardians.
Well, I love Guardians. And plus I love James Gunn with the Guardians. So okay, so that's our Marvel. Ant-Man. You can see it for free now. Well, if you subscribe to Disney, so you can check that out. And it's fun. It's a fun run. I paid attention through it all. My attention wasn't gone away like in Spider-Man when they do the high school scenes. I start looking around and thinking I should do something else. I just kept my attention. Yeah, and plus, as I mentioned, the fun thing to do is look for the Star Wars Easter eggs because they're all through the film. It's great. It's great.
I can tell you an interesting fact about the first Ant-Man. I took a gummy bear.
Nice.
2 hours before that.
Wow, that'd be good.
and it kicked in about 3/4 of the way through it.
Mm-hmm.
About halfway to 3/4 of the way through it, and then I was in the movie.
That's great. Yeah, that's fun.
I was in the movie.
That's awesome, buddy. What a great way to go. So that movie's probably was really good. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, the first
I love
one.
it.
That's great.
Okay, so let's move over. Let's move over to Star Wars. Last week I was talking a bit about Star Wars because I heard some rumors that that Rey is definitely going to be in the new ones, and at least part of the story is going to be her, starting over again with a new group of Jedi, a new Jedi school. And my hope was that as the Emperor is the most treacherous villain, he would definitely lie to her. There you go.
He for sure would.
He would lie to her.
Absolutely.
And he would. That's really cool.
It is really cool.
Did you have that for a while?
The young Jedi upstairs.
Oh, it's from his collection. It's very cool. Okay. I want some of that. That's awesome.
Yes, and I think you can hear it. Does the Darth Vader voice? Can you hear that kind of?
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
Excellent.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, well, I think that they show that Palpatine just lied to her, right? And she's not actually related to Palpatine. She's actually Ben Kenobi's daughter, and then we can move on, right? And then we can all happily move on. It's not a big deal because Palpatine would totally lie. He would totally lie. And then she can start in, and I bet you Grogu's in there somewhere in the mix somewhere. So there's also the other side of Thrawn coming in. And also the other thing that I discovered is that all the new TV shows are leading to the new movies.
Yes. And I've heard the same thing about Thrawn, and that it's going to be called The Heir to the Empire, right?
Nice.
That first
if they go to that exact title, that'd be great, because that was from the books, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Which I've got over there, which I'll
nice.
see in a second. Yes. But it's all General Thrawn, and they touched on that with Ahsoka, and
more's coming. More's coming in the next Ahsoka TV show. There'll be lots more on Thrawn coming in there, and then on the Mandalorian. Then it's all going to lead into the newer movies. The hint was because Thrawn was taken away by these big whales that teleport in different time streams and stuff, right? So what happened is their ship that Thrawn was on, and one of the Jedis, forget his name, it'll come to me though. One of the last Jedis were on the ship, and the hero steered them into these whales, and they took him into Thrawn to somewhere, who knows where. Now, in the last Mandalorian, I think it was the very first episode, they're flying along, and Grogu is hypnotized by these huge whales. Those are the whales that teleport you. So those are the whales that took Thrawn away. So there's a nice little Easter egg there if you hadn't noticed that in the Mandalorian. So also, that'll be really cool. And who's the actor? Is it just going to be the same voice actor that's...
Yeah, I've heard rumblings it's going to be that, as well as we're going to get into Mara.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool.
Which is going to be good.
That's
but the only problem is that in those books, the Skywalker kids kill Chewbacca.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to redo something there because Ben's already been established in the last group of the last three movies. So you're going to have this whole thing. They're going to have to rewrite that. Chewbacca dying from a
he isn't dead yet, right? In the story, he's still hanging in there. So
yeah.
But what her first appearance in the books, it says, is back in Jabba's palace. Now there'll be 3 girls that are singing in the background, and she had a shape-shifting device like they have. They've done that lots in Star Wars. And she altered her shape a bit, and she's one of the girls dancing. If you watch, you can kind of pick out which one she would be. So that's actually her origin is right there, because she was sent to kill Luke Skywalker because she was Darth Vader's hand, right? But she decided once she met Luke, she fell in love with him. And they started off on their own deal together, and that's when they started having kids and the whole deal. So I'm really excited for her, if they do bring her in. That'd be fantastic.
It's a good story. Now, whether they're gonna, I like how they're diving out of the what do you call it? They're like, well, we're not committing to any Skywalker in this thing,
right?
That Luke's going to be in it or whatever. So that should be interesting.
There's going to be a lot of misleadings in this before we get there, my friends. I guarantee it. But the TV shows are going to be pretty cool. Ahsoka comes out sooner than later. We can jump in there and back. You see, Star Wars keeps moving slowly ahead, where Marvel is hitting those potholes and tripping, man. We'll see what happens with them.
They weren't tripping. They were doing so great.
Marvel?
And then, well, Marvel was.
Oh no, I was.
And then
This year they're just this new wave, whatever they call each wave, right? Like, what are we on, wave 4 or something? This one, they've just been stumbling. Like, they hit Wanda, and it was great. Some people didn't know how to take it, but it was brilliant, really, from a writer's point of view and from the character's point of view. And then from there, they just tripped. Hawkeye, Loki, kind of good.
Yeah,
and then what movies? And Black Panther moved. Like, they just swinging and missing. Too bad. So Star Wars, hopefully, I got a feeling we're going to get something good coming out of this next Star Wars batch, buddy? Good 3 movies that we can.
Too many people involved that are getting a chance, I think, to just fix it. I mean, we touched on this before. I haven't had a problem with any of the series that they've put out. And just the fact that Andor, was so well received, they've really done a good job with the Mando series, like the Obi-Wan series, the Kenobi series was great. There's just too many smart people, I think, at this point, and I think Kathleen Kennedy's been told to chill out. So I think that they're really, like the lady that took over Lucasfilm. I think they've basically said, given it to what's his name, Favreau and the other guy to fix. To fix, and I really hope that they do.
They're on their way. They're on their way. See, that seems to be all Chris, their shows is redemption.
But what they have to do is so we got 5, 7, 8, 9. So if 10, 11, and 12 is the plan, if they are going to make a 10, 11, and 12, or like, can you make a 10, 11, and 12, but Rey's story is kind of sandwiched in there? It's kind of an interesting one because 10 and 11 and 12 have to make 7, 8, and 9 look good.
Yeah. Well, what you do is you bring her in, you kill her off.
So
you get her. So you get that turn in the audience, like in wrestling, where goes from heel to face in their eyes, and then you kill her. Yeah. And it's like, interesting. And then there's a new Sith. Who the hell is that guy? Whoa, right? Or it's not even a Sith. It's Thrawn or whatever. Sorry. And there's your start, and then you got it. I can't help but think that Grogu's going to be a big part of the new 3 movies. I have a feeling Ahsoka's probably going to be in there too, because it's her buddy that's on the ship with Thrawn, and she had a real personal vendetta with Thrawn. So from what I hear, also, it's going to be like this great big super team up kind of thing against Thrawn of all the people from these TV shows. So you're going to have the Mandalorian in there, you're going to have Ahsoka in there, you might have Boba Fett in there, like you're going to have all these groups in there fighting against Thrawn.
So many stories to tell.
Like that's the rumor that's going to be like a the Infinity Gauntlet kind of thing, but with Star Wars characters against Thrawn, which would be pretty rad. So so going off of Star Wars and sci-fi, one thing that I've always loved is because I like girls, is the females in sci-fi. I've always found them very alluring, very attractive, especially when they give them a little bit of a power as well. Like, there are the weaker ones, which there was one here that I kind of liked. But for the most part, that's one thing I'm enjoying about a lot of the girls in wrestling these days, like Rhea Ripley and Shakira, Hito Shakira. I love how strong they are, man. They're really powerful, and they have that warrior dress and look to them. A lot of them. I love that. So sci-fi started out for me watching this kind of thing. So we're going late 60s, and we're going to hit Barbarella to start off. All right.
Well, okay.
And that
was what's her name? Raquel Welch?
No. Jane Fonda. Yeah, I was going to say.
Jane Fonda. Sorry, Jane Fonda. Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, Jane Fonda. So and basically Barbarella, if you are into the B movie sci-fi kind of things, you got to check out Barbarella. Again, it's free on YouTube. Great quality. Sorry, my allergies are killing me here. Basically, it's about a robot lady, I believe, or she's human, around a robot world, and she goes on these adventures and loses her clothes occasionally. It's quite a journey, and hilarity, and you know what I mean. Like it's like in the late 60s, right? 68. So you either saw this or you saw 2001: Space Odyssey, I guess, back in the day, the Kubrick movie. So that's my first one, was Jane Fonda. Man, wow! And if you go back and look at photos in Google, you'd be like, man, that rad. I like the classic vintage women are amazing in these movies, I find. So now let's move to the 70s. And in the 70s, it was Logan's Run. Now, basically, this is the sexiest sci-fi ever. If you're out on a date with your significant other, Logan's Run is just amazing. It's just amazing. The whole world is just about people kind of doing whatever they want to do until they hit 30, and then they have to be eliminated, right? So Logan's Run. So Logan decides, no, you know what? I want to live, and I want to live with this girl. So my very first crush ever, Farrah Fawcett, was in this, and she was amazing. And she again, her acting is terrible, and she wasn't like a hero or anything. She was, she was just kind of in there on the side thing. She actually turned on them in the end. But anyway, she was in there. But the whole cast was just sexy. It was just like, it's the sexiest sci-fi ever, friends. It was a great date movie if you're like me and you're into that kind of stuff. Okay, so then we go into the 80s, and of course, who's the 80s sci-fi queen, man?
It's got to be Princess Leia in Return of the Jedi. It's got to be Return of the Jedi, right?
Again, if you go back to the New Hope, though, man, she's got some swagger in there. Man. I love, and that little white dress was kind of hot. It was kind of hot. And of course, that's one of my first crushes was Princess Leia way back in the day, as well as Farrah Fawcett. So see, we're climbing the ladder here, right? As Chris's young crush. But anyway, yeah. But of course, Return of the Jedi was great. But I loved her through the whole thing. I thought she was really, really cool. And I loved her swagger in Empire Strikes Back. I thought that was I thought that was a turn on. That was really cool.
Not to mention all the cocaine she was on.
Oh. We've discovered that with a lot of... See, we're watching The Love Boat again, and we're discovering all that with a lot of the Love Boat characters. One in particular is pretty funny. But from the 80s, it's got to be Carrie Fisher. All the way, home run. Now we hit the 90s, and it's strange because there wasn't a lot that I was remembering or I could choose from. But I did go with Princess Amidala because in the third one there, she was smoking, and she got the character down really, really well, I thought. See, the character has a lot to do with it as well. You know what I mean? There are some girls that are very attractive and play characters that were like, oh, geez, wow, way to go. That didn't work. But I thought Princess Amidala in the third movie there, Revenge of the Sith, was awesome. Awesome. She was really, really good. And the second one, a little bit there too. But, she's got some Princess Leia in her, of course. So she would be my pick for the 90s. Now, as I say, when we hit the new modern movies, I have to go with Elizabeth Olsen in Scarlet Witch. Wanda. Man, she is just... She owns it. She can act well. The character is beautiful. The character is beautiful, and she's beautiful. Like she's nice to look at, right? While she's doing all of this, her costumes are so cool and have such throwbacks to when she started in the comic books. It's just she's the one that I like. My sci-fi sexy girl from the nowadays, from now, from this timeline. Okay,
I've got currently now it's Zoe Saldana.
So what has she done?
She's Gamora.
Gamora, okay, right. Yeah, you got to help me. I'm bad with some of these names, right? But as soon as you say who they are. And she was in Star Trek as well.
She's in Star Trek as well. She's in she's badass, and but she's really great. But she's smoking hot, but she's also really great.
It's like great actress, everything and she does. You don't mind looking at her, right?
Colombiana, she's in Colombiana. She's so deadly in that. Obviously, Princess Leia. I mean, come on, Return of the Jedi. Yep. Jeez. And you see like the still shots from the set, like when they were just hanging on the beach and just chilling and partying. Mm-hmm. Double down. She was on fire.
She was great. What a beautiful. She was so beautiful. Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, I know. Drugs are a bitch.
We're Love Boat sidebar again. We watched an episode with her mom on there just yesterday.
Oh,
so anyway, it all links, right? That's Carrie Fisher's mom.
Where else can I go? In the 90s, obviously Natasha Henstridge, which
she was really good. Yeah,
Species. And
I'm not big on blonde girls. I'm not big on blonde girls.
Understood, but she was
just saying because I saw her as well.
Yeah, she was great. And then it's an interesting one because if we're going like if it's a sci-fi character that was like made up in makeup or whatever, right? That's different than just somebody that was in a sci-fi movie. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure how to qualify this. I mean, I Sharon Stone in Total Recall, the original Total Recall.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
God, she was killer in that, and she was like it kind of launched her. And I've always loved, and this is more superhero-y maybe, but I love Famke Janssen as well.
And she was Phoenix, right?
Yeah. So
nice.
And Wanda's great too.
Yeah. Some honorable mentions I had was Uhura from the original Star Trek in the late 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
As a kid, I always thought she was awesome. And then there's one other one I had, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah.
What about Mila Jovovich?
Jovovich? No.
The Element.
Jovovich.
Oh, Mila. She's an interesting cat, but
how about Barbed Wire?
Oh, Pam Anderson.
Anderson and Barbed Wire.
some people are on the Sigourney Weaver train. I've never
No.
I've never
Great
been
actress.
a big. Yeah, I've never been. What else? I'm kind of scrolling through a couple. Actually, I just found a couple more here. Carrie-Anne Moss in The Matrix, Trinity. She was pretty.
Yeah. And then you
she
saw
was
interviews
something.
with her, and it was like, oh, she's a bitch.
Oh, okay. Then she gets eliminated, for sure.
Oh, dude, she's a harsh one. That's why you don't see her work that much anymore.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're leaving out like.
Who?
We're leaving out the hottest of all, really.
Who?
Jennifer Connelly in Dark.
Oh,
Oh my God. She was in like 4 different ones.
she
Oh my
was
God.
in a lot of them. I forgot.
Yeah.
She was in Hulk as well.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, she didn't
Yeah.
have that great a character though. As I say, the character kind of goes with it. You know what I mean? I had another one. Honorable mention. Charlize Theron as Aeon Flux. Aeon Flux is like, dang, that cartoon back in the day, and she would do all these different things and like trap flies with her eyelids, like and then eat it, and like there'd be a microphone or something in something she would do.
Charlize, eh? Yeah.
And she was like bouncing all over the place. Scarlett Johansson did a movie too, a sci-fi movie. It was like her body basically, and it was like a robot kind of cyborg thing. I saw that in there a bit, but I remember trying to watch that. It's just the character wasn't that enticing to me, but I can see why Phoenix is great.
A whole other. Oh my God, Spencer Jensen. We got a whole other chat about like hottest horror women.
Oh, that's another one.
So
No, I wanted to start with sci-fi because sci-fi is fun. I was just going through it in my head about the different decades of it and just the evolution of the sci-fi babe. All right, we got. Let's we got to make sure we end on a certain time. So let's hit our conspiracy theory. Yeah. All right, let's run our conspiracy theory and we'll hit that. And this is a combo: conspiracy and wrestling together at last, right? On our show, together at last. Yeah, go ahead, babe. You got it. I love that. Let's go.
You've picked an interesting topic. This one.
I have. So this is a really easily to offend people, I guess, right? Oh, it's a touchy topic anyway. So we're going to talk about Chris Benoit. And if you don't know who Chris Benoit is, or you're kind of aware of him, he was a wrestler from Canada. He came up through the Hart Dungeon, the famous Hart Dungeon with Bret Hart and Owen Hart and all those guys. His mentor was the Dynamite Kid. And the Dynamite Kid. Yeah, and what a mentor, man. That guy's a piece of work. Holy cow. So he would do that. Yeah, Jesus, that's a whole other one. Watch the Dark Side of the Ring on him. So he even did his headbutt, Chris Benoit would do. And did lots of steroids. He was a littler guy that would do tons of steroids to try and keep up. He really worshipped wrestling. He was into it. It was his life. And he met, I only know her, it's as with her last name being Benoit, but she was woman.
Yeah.
But back when she was wrestling, right? And if you are into wrestling, you don't remember woman. Oh my gosh, she was back with the Powers of Pain, or what was it? Not the Powers of Pain, but it was this evil syndicate, and she was like the fallen angel and was going in a bikini and her hair everywhere and crazy makeup with Kevin Sullivan, and it was really, really rad. So Kevin Sullivan hooked the two of them up for a work. And they ended up falling in love, having a kid, getting married. All right. Yeah. So years later, we flash back, and Eddie Guerrero dies, he's part of my conspiracy theory here that I've been reading into. So he dies, and Benoit loses it after that. Loses it. And one weekend, he kills his wife, sleeps in the house, and then kills his son, then sleeps in the house and kills himself, I believe. Maybe it was 2 and then sleeps in the house, but he slept in the house while his kid was dead and his wife was dead. And then he killed himself. All right. So Nancy, his wife, Nancy Benoit, it was pretty rough. I'm not going to go into details. This is all over the internet, of course. This is all over Dark Side of the Ring. It's a 2-parter. Yeah. So Chris Benoit killed his wife, killed his son, and then killed himself. All right. Now we all know that. I'm not going to go into a conspiracy theory about somebody else killed all these people or something else happened there. I'm going to throw some different things at you, Brent. They're going to make your head spin. Okay, first of all, Eddie Guerrero. How close was Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero really? After Guerrero died, Benoit would go to his house and sleep in the same spot and side of the bed that Eddie slept in. Chavo Guerrero said, after Eddie died, Chris talked about him like he was a spouse. He says, and then they found that every time it was like a spouse. It wasn't like he lost a friend. It was like a spouse. Those were his exact words. They found his diary later, and it was all about Eddie, man. All about Eddie. So my question is, were they, and there's nothing wrong with this, in my humble opinion, but were they maybe really close, and Nancy kind of was getting sick of his obsession with Eddie, and they got in a huge fight over because she was getting jealous, and he maybe really loved Eddie and killed her because of this? What do you think of that?
Anything's possible. I mean, I have to.
Have you ever heard that one?
I have never heard that one.
Okay, you've heard it first. Holy cow!
I've never heard that one. But I also like. Yeah.
Well, what do you think of that? What do you think of that?
It's entirely possible. I mean, geez, we don't hear enough. Not that it's being written, but you don't hear too many things about.
It's pretty hush hush to be gay back then.
Music, in sports, in anything where you really guys have just not really come out, or they haven't really, or you never really get the. Pat Patterson and what's his name from WWE?
Let's not go into Pat Patterson. That guy's a nasty one
but
too.
What I'm just saying is but there are some that have come out, and then there's some that have not, in all sports and all everything. So it is entirely possible, yeah. I mean, I'd buy anything really.
Watch that Dark Side of the Ring if you have some spare time to fill on a plane or something, and just look for it this time, because it was brought to my attention by somebody I was watching it with, and she mentioned that about how that is love, you know what I mean? And then I watched it again. I think I watched it this morning again today, and I was just like, oh my gosh, they were in love. Like, who knows how deep it was? Maybe Nancy had enough.
Either they or him.
Right. And maybe Nancy had enough of it after he died, because he was so depressed and so upset. And he was, Anyway, so here's my other one. This one involves Vince. Of course, Vince had to be in here on this somewhere. Now, check this out. This is a great one too. So they first announced, that they were all dead. There was no conspiracy to it. Just they all died. We don't know what happened. And Vince announced that to everybody, right? Was it the next night or the night after? Vince came back on and says, oh, you know what? No, we found out more information. Screw Benoit. He killed somebody. Oh my God. We're never having his words on here again. This is the first time that Vince has not been able to close a murder under his roof. Snuka, everything. They're coming out years and decades later, but this is the first time he contained that Owen Hart thing, man. Holy crap. He contained so much stuff. This is the first time the mighty Vince McMahon could not contain this. Now, my question is, the very first night, Brent, was he thinking, I'll fix this. I'll fix this. Don't worry. We'll make Benoit look like a legend. I'll fix this. And then afterwards, I can't fix this. And then he's so mad. This is the first event, conspiracy that beat Vince. He could not, he tried to keep a lid on this at first, right, buddy? There had to be at least 12 hours where he's thinking, okay, how do we cover this up, guys? All right, Frank, no, that's not going to work. Bill, okay, Bob, what do we do here? How do we cover this up? We'll just tell everybody, poor Benoit, this, that, and the other thing. We'll fix it. He couldn't fix it. So I'm not saying he had anything to do with killing them at all again, but I'm just saying, did Vince think he could cap this? And this is his one conspiracy, his one murder that he could not cover up. The one that got away, Chris Benoit, and he's abolishing it from everything.
That was like one of the first things before Me Too, before all the kind of woke kind of thing that happened. He got into a lot of trouble of still going ahead after Owen died in the room.
Oh, and he got away with it all.
Right, but there was this whole thing about why are you continuing the pay-per-view? Why didn't you just stop it there?
Why did he fall? Yeah.
There's all that stuff. So outside of that, this was the first time where they like wipe a wrestler completely clean of the archives.
His wife
And
as well. Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things where he absolutely had no choice whether he wanted to or not. Whether wrestlers were like, you can't wipe Chris from everything. He's too important into the history of wrestling. But that was the first like thing that I remember where even the Hogan steroid thing, all that stuff got kind of just
Vince controlled it, man. He
just kind of went away.
it.
But this thing to me was the first time where it was like,
yeah,
it was almost like WWE Vince or whatever got, not Me Too, but it was like, hey, we got
a little much, buddy.
You've got to do this.
Yeah.
Right now, you've got to wipe your hands clean, and everyone of like in the corporate side of it was like, we have to disassociate ourselves with him right now. That's the first time I'd ever really seen that.
Well, that's the one. I think that's maybe the only time that Vince could not contain something under his tent there, under his roof.
Well, I'm sure it's not the only time, but it's the most important.
Well, no, there's small. I don't know, man.
Like, look at all the stuff that just happened with with all the women he paid off and all the rest of it. He's still back.
Yeah.
So he's almost He's relatively.
But this is murder.
But
this is murder. No, this is murder. Like Jimmy Snuka killed his wife and whatnot, but this is murder, right? So, and I didn't know that one of the Uso brothers got caught drinking and driving, and Vince got him out of that one lately too. Wow. I just saw that.
The Usos weren't allowed in Canada their whole career. Because of
craziness,
they've never been allowed up here.
That's
Jeff Hardy,
crazy.
like there's a lot of guys, but that's standard corporate stuff.
No, but I didn't know. They hid the Uso. They hid that one for me good. I had my Alani both.
It's out there. Like, no, it's out there. I knew that.
Well, we didn't know. We didn't know. Just saying. Like,
it's out there, but it's funny because like. There's been so much funniness in wrestling for years, like Duggan and the Sheik and all these kind of funny stories that float out there that people just kind of laugh off. But this one is the one that just cannot be laughed off. Yeah,
that's why I say we're taking we're going there. That's why in my text I say, dude, we're taking this one on. But as you can see, I don't know. You're probably I could just see Brent going, oh, Chris, what is Chris going to talk about? What's he going to say? And I didn't go. I went the angle of the outside around, like, Who does Chris think killed all these people now? It was the maid tackled with the two dogs in the neighbor.
I mean,
what I mean?
It's an interesting theory about it because it's the
Eddie Guerrero and the Vince one. Like the Eddie Guerrero one, I think, man, like again, as I mentioned, folks, watch Dark Side of the Ring again, the Chris Benoit episode, and yourself, Brent, and just go in thinking that Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit are actually having a relationship, and that's how it plays out. Yeah. So we got to wrap up here soon, buddy. So that's our conspiracy theory today. We had a lot of good stuff again. I like that. There's a lot of cool stuff that's happening that we can talk about, which is cool. I like that. And that was a good when we got our wrestling and conspiracy theory in one shot
at the same time. Yeah,
isn't that good, right? So next week though, you're not going to be here next week.
There's a substantial chance that I'm not going to be available for a little while.
Okay,
I'm on a plane I'm on a plane Sunday, but I'm about 9 hours ahead of you for the next 5 months. Yeah. So
I'll chat with you on the phone there. But I was going to say, so next week will be the wrestling, I believe, because we have the Saudi event next Sunday, right? So, or this Sunday.
That's on Saturday. It's on Saturday, actually.
Saturday, right. I got to work this Sunday. Okay, it's downtown. I got to teach. Scholastic. But anyway, so Saudi. So this Monday coming up, we're going to talk Saudi wrestling, which should be a lot of fun. That's good. So that was good.
I'm not expecting much to happen. As I mentioned before on the Saudi side of things, I just don't think that they push too much over there because that crowd just doesn't understand what they're trying to do. However, my prediction is that Roman actually takes this thing down and actually has the tag belts now. I do think.
Yeah, I could see that too.
I don't think it's a better story. It's a better story.
Yeah, I saw a funny segment with Brian Zane wrestling with regret. Oh, if you're into wrestling, man, Brian Zane wrestling with regret on YouTube. He's your guy, man. He is your guy. That guy just rules. I forget what I was going to say. I was just pondering on so many of the videos.
We were talking about Roman.
Oh, yeah, right. So he was saying that there was a Saudi event or the very first one or something. And it wasn't even like canon, as we say in Marvel and Star Wars. Whatever happened in there, they just acted like it didn't happen and they came back. Yeah. So it's a different, so it's hard to take this one seriously, Brian Zane said. So, but for the Saudis down there enjoying this kind of rock and roll show for them, man, like all the power to them. There's some women's titles, I believe, that are going to be up for grabs as well. So we'll see what happens and if they hold to it.
Coincidentally, I'm there the next day.
Yeah, that's wild, huh?
I'm actually flying to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, that's pretty
on
wild.
Sunday, so
That's pretty
I'll
wild.
probably do this crossover.
Yeah.
But and Sammy's actually allowed to wrestle it for the first time
Oh, good. There you go. Yeah, I
Because,
noticed there's a couple more that are going.
because he of Syrian descent, and there was some descent between Syria and the Middle East.
Yeah, there's a
and stuff.
couple
He
guys that
wasn't
couldn't
allowed-
go.
Yeah, but he's gonna be. But I wouldn't. I think it's a better story to have Roman have those belts. And
Well,
just
yeah, and then
be
it tells the
like,
Usos how useless they are. That's what's going to happen. You're probably right.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman Reigns, man, he did some mic work on SmackDown on Friday. Did you see that? That was deplorable.
I saw
That
the
was like
highlights.
that was hard.
Yeah, I
Did
saw the
you?
highlights.
Wow, buddy. Wow, you're no MJL or MJF. What's this? Like, I'm bad with initials. Holy
Well,
cow!
he's never been.
Well, then you should give the mic to somebody else. Suffer and Succotash. That guy's not very good on the mic, Brent. Did you get it? Did you get that?
He's gotten
What?
better. He's gotten better, but I don't
know.
uh,
From that last one I saw, that was no better than Suffer and Succotash. That was no better than that, buddy. That was really bad. I was just like, spit it out. What are you trying to say? Like, oh my God, you're the world champion. Like, you're not. And he's trying to be the Rock, and it's not working. Like, you're not the Rock. Just go for something different, dude. Go for something different. Anyway, we should wrap up here, dude. We're going to run out of time. They're going to be like electric shocking us. We don't want to be electric shocked.
That's right. We'll be all right.
All right. Anyway, dude,
yeah, we got a couple
great
minutes,
episode.
so-
I love talking about everything we talk about every time, and that was good. There'll be more cool stuff to talk about next week. So, Brent, safe travels on your way to the moon or Mars or wherever you're going to next. Don't take any wooden.
I'm gonna go wrestle. I'm actually
moon
wrestling
rocks.
for the. I'm wrestling for the WWE. Yeah. I'm gonna
Okay,
go
great.
throw-
And you're gonna
LA
you're gonna
Knight.
represent Earth.
No, LA Knight couldn't make it, so they need a stunt double.
That's right.
So
That's right. You're gonna get flipped around. All right, buddy.
I'll get flipped around a little bit. So
We'll talk to you soon. Planet Earth. Cheers. Party on. Be excellent to yourself. Be excellent to each other. And
And hey, before we go, congrats to a quick call out here to Crier Media. We just landed the biggest free agent in independent journalism on the show, and all of our views and likes and all this stuff has all gone up because of it.
Oh.
And so the independent journalist. Side note: independent journalist Charles Adler joined the network. Going to be in essence taking over, I believe. That sort of Dean slot with his podcast
wow.
and everything, but
Wow.
it's basically a massive win for Crier Media, and we are all going to benefit from it. So kudos, awesome stuff.
that's good.
It's a big thing.
at first I thought it was going to be Donnie Most. Donnie Most.
no.
Donnie Most. Sorry, I've been saying that a lot lately. Well, I'm gonna say who is it? I'll say Donnie Most. Anyway, that's really cool news, man. I got to look into it because I don't know who anybody is anymore. I don't have.
It's politics. It's politics.
I have no idea who anybody is, but I'm glad. That's awesome. Crier Media, go Crier Media, because I'm part of Crier Media, so I'm all for it. But again, you got to remember, I'm a comic book artist who lives in his house, who doesn't leave very often.
Exactly, but it's good news for all of us.
What's going on? Yeah, it's great. Awesome. All right, everybody enjoy your last bit of May 2-4 here in Canada, right? It's May 2-4 weekend, eh?
Yeah, you know.
Drink
call it.
your beer,
May
play
2
some hockey, eh? Get out there. Get out and do something, would you?
This fucking. What are you doing on fucking May 2-4, man? Like,
Yeah. Oh, I want to play some hockey and drink some beer.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Right on. All right, buddy. Let's thank her out.
2-4. Going to
Cheers.
Sam's.
Peace out.
All right, man.
Cheers.
Good times.
Rad dudes. See ya.
Be excellent to each other.
Do it.